All right, folks, we are here with Lux Luminous, someone who has inspired me for somewhere around 5 years, but for different reasons over the years. I finally broke down and had to reach out and just start a line of communication and talk about all the two or three cool different things you do. I've always liked your flow because
Thank
I'm not
you.
exposed to that many levy wanders at your level.
Yeah.
I've always liked your vlogging because it's like so emotional and logical, and it's like always has a linear like narrative and concept. I'm like, oh, damn, I learned from that. And then once I found out, like, I started seeing all these really good fire photos come out. Number three, you're a photographer. So in addition to video, performing, flow, teaching, I think you're also an organizer. So I think that's like four different topics we
hmm
can touch on. I was like, we got to have a conversation because I
Oh,
can learn a lot,
absolutely.
and proxy listeners can learn a lot too.
Yes.
So just starting at the top, tell us a little bit about how you got into flow. And then from there, I think chronologically, then you get into vlogging. And then I think from there, then you got into photography.
hmm
Just tell us
Yeah.
the narrative of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got into flow when I was 17 years old. I was dating this guy who got like really into like glow stringing, and I thought he looked totally lame. And he was like, "Oh, you should do something." And so, like, I was like, "I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm definitely not gonna do poi." No, no hate, but
I do all the props. I make fun of Poi the
yeah.
most of anyone.
Oh, of course. Yes, yes, of course. So yeah, I saw, Lovey Wand, like a little 30-second clip on YouTube one day. I was like, I have to learn how to do that. And of course, I couldn't figure out what the heck it was because the 30-second clip was titled Girl Dances with Stick Rave, like it was so stupid. So I went to my first festival that following month, and I actually saw somebody doing it out in the distance, ran to them full speed. I was like, yo, I have to try that. And so I nailed myself in the face immediately. I fell in love, bought one right there. So yeah, that is how I got into flow. And then of course, like through the years, I started doing like tutorials and stuff for Levy1 because there just wasn't any tutorials or anything. There was no real foundation like whatsoever.
You're
So I
still
was
the
like,
main like creator of tutorials, right? Just in terms of like,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been making them as much lately, but yes, I have the most like the largest library of Levy Wand tricks like out there.
That's so
But
awesome.
yeah, and then like over the years I did a lot of like modeling and stuff like with fire performing and whatnot. So I've always like been around cameras and around photographers and around videographers. So it was very easy for me to just kind of like slip into that role because I've already had so much experience with it just on the other end of the camera. So like during the pandemic, I was bored out of my mind, looking for something to do and something that would occupy me and I could, also help my community. So I got back into doing all of the vlogging and the tutorials and stuff. And along with that, I decided one day, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a photo lens and see what this is about. So I
What
went
was your
out
first
and did my
lens?
so my first lens was an 85 millimeter. So I knew I wanted to do portraiture. So I was like, okay, we're gonna rock an 85 and see what I can get. And I got a bunch of my friends together and we went out and did like this like collaborative photo shoot. And I look at my camera, I'm like, oh no, I'm good at this. Oh no.
I have to do this now. It's my new hobby.
I have to do this. Yeah, it's a new hobby. And dear God, I feel like I've dumped way more into photo equipment than I ever did with video. Because like with video, like, I had all my audio and lights and stuff, but with like photo, there's just so much more like gadgets and things. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, shoot.
I think we both have gear
Yes.
acquisition syndrome.
Yes, yes. And I just finished setting up my gear wall at my new place. So this is my new house. I just moved in with my boyfriend.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
recognize that.
yeah, this is brand new. This is the new. I wasn't gonna make a YouTube wall, and then I ended up accidentally making a YouTube wall. So
Classic.
yeah. So I guess I have to vlog again. I
It's
just need to settle down and
like
get.
lilacs, and then I can't tell, but it's a character in front of a moon, a celestial body.
No, this is actually a piece that I did. If you could see it, it's a girl
It's
balancing
glaring.
on a Oh, it's glaring. Oh, let me see if I can.
There we go. Yeah, a little higher.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. So it's a
Colored
girl
pencil.
balancing a club on her face,
Oh,
balancing
now
on
I
a
see it.
ball. Yeah, filled with liquid.
Oh, now it came into view. So cool. Oh yeah,
Nice.
at first I was like, I could only see the feet, and I thought it was the moon, and I was like, wait a minute, it doesn't look
No,
exactly like the moon. It's like a
it's not.
glass
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a balancing ball. I wanted
with
to
the
create
club.
more. Yeah, with the club on the face. I wanted to create more circus themed like artwork, like cute artwork, because there's a lot of like there's a lot of like circus art, but not like overly cute art. And I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna make it.
You know, Cassandra Smythe's
Oh yeah,
stickers that she makes. Oh, when I saw those
yes.
stickers, I was like, I need every one of those stickers. They were.
I
Um,
have a few
I
of
have
them. Oh, I
one.
love her stuff so much. Like, I just want more circus art in my life.
Yeah, I have like the holographic Podboy one, a Twerk de Soleil one, a
Nice.
mushroom, and then Cassandra Smythe's like they're like little fire kitties on
Yes.
Fireboy, and
I
they're
have that
holographic.
one.
Like, it's such a
I
good piece of art.
so I have the print of that. I need to get it framed so I can hang it up in my new place, but I am excited. It was so adorable. I'm like, take my money. It's like I really wish this was a Lucky
Exactly.
one, but I will, take poi. It's fine.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that is truly her art truly transcended like if someone who doesn't spin poi was willing like, you know
Yeah.
what? It's that's good. Shout out to Cass for
Yes.
for
Oh,
bridging
she's
that
so
gap.
good. Yeah, she's so good. She's so
We
sweet.
were
She's one
at
of my favorite illustrators
yeah.
and
And this is why I probably should have contextualized a little bit. Part of what Flow Arts Curator does is give people who rose in flow arts a chance to talk about their other hobbies and how as you rise in one, your skills rise in
Yep.
the other. So
Yep.
yeah, so anytime that you think we're talking about flow arts too much, just bring it back to videography or photography because
Oh yeah.
I feel as though like I've grown as a flow artist when my other skills have grown, and I've stagnated when my other skills have stagnated. So
Yeah.
like I still don't have like a strong thesis statement, but flow arts curator explores topics besides just flow arts, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, I definitely feel that the things that I've learned from flow arts, I have applied specifically to photo and like video. And like I study it the same way, I interact with it the same way. It like scratches that little itch that flow arts does. And I'm just like, yes. Let me just
Tech.
like geek out on this.
Yes. We were talking about you got your first 85 mil and then like realized you were good at it. And then what were some of the other key like steps from there to get to where you are now?
So the first camera I picked up was actually a DJI Osmo because I wasn't entirely sure if I was going to get into like all the video stuff. So when I switched over to like an actual professional camera, I ended up going with a Sony. So I have the so I started with the Sony A6400, and at that time that is what I was shooting on, which I still love. I still use it all the time.
It's a great camera.
But it is a really great camera, and especially if you are a beginner and you want something that can chug photo and video,
Mhm.
Sony is optimized for both, and it is the only camera that's really optimized for both. So if you wanted to go strictly video, I would suggest like Lumix or something of that nature, or going into the higher levels of the Sonys. Or if you're doing photo, Canon is absolutely gorgeous. So like
Hmm.
different cameras are optimized for different things, but that's initially why I went with Sony, and now I'm completely engulfed in the Sony ecosystem.
Oh yeah, the E-mount system I find easy to use, and their
I love it.
autofocus is crazy. If you see me typing, I'm just like writing down the
No,
stuff
no,
that
it's
you're
okay.
saying so we can reference it later. Yeah,
Yeah.
I found that like even though Sony is a really high-end product, like as a beginner, I felt really comfortable with the autofocus. I mean,
Mhm.
I barely have to adjust anything.
Nice.
I just use like a 50 nifty, a
Oh,
nifty
of
50.
course.
So I just shoot with
Yeah.
that, and I'm really basic level. But the shots that I get, like when I am in my
Hmm.
distance and my lighting, which is kind of like sunset in my
Yep.
yard or sometimes at a venue, weddings or whatever, I find that it's just so much better than the iPhone. There's no ghost trails.
Oh
When I go to
no.
slow it down, it looks
Yeah.
better. I still
Yes.
do need a lot of help, like um, there's one setting that I shoot in where it crops, and I'm not sure why it's cropping. But like it's all stuff I
Weird.
can Google. Yeah, and like
Yeah.
you can airdrop to your phone. I just found,
Yep.
or like your client's phone to send them like, oh, I don't even need this edited. Just send me the raw file. I'm like, it takes
Yep.
forever to airdrop, but like just all these options that came with it,
Yeah.
I found to be like
Which body is this?
the A7 III.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
Yeah.
So that's what I updated to. A really good friend of mine, Sean Farrell, was updating to the Sony FX3 because he's mostly into video. And so when you get into the cinema line of Sony, like then the photo aspect starts dropping.
Yeah.
So, but it is optimized as hell for video. But I ended up buying his off of him. I was like,
Nice.
yes, I will
It's
take
always
that.
especially because it's someone you know, so you're like, he didn't beat it up.
No,
I shot
yeah.
on the Sony Cinema line at a wedding recently, and it had really nice stabilization. But I put my foot in my mouth because like, hey, how do I snap some photos? And my boss just looked at me and he's like,
It's like, what?
why would you ask that? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it doesn't shoot. This one doesn't shoot photos. Like what?
Yeah.
It's just I felt so dumb.
No. Well, I mean, you don't know unless you know.
Yeah.
Like when cameras are specialized for a specific thing, like it just drops. The photo aspect or the video aspect completely. Yeah.
Me and I used to nerd out with Maddie Stoner a lot, and he got flown down to Vegas to shoot something, and he got to shoot on a red, and which is like apparently and he would, and like, because I'd never even seen one, but he was glowing for like 2 weeks after that, just talking about how fun it was. I'm pretty sure that camera has such a high load. It has like some sort of like cooling system or something. Like, I saw a tail.
She's in her little cat tree now. You can see her. Kimmy.
Hi, Kimmy. Hi, Stripe.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, so yeah, the reds are absolutely insane. Like the base level is like 25 grand.
Yeah.
And that's like starting.
I'd rather have like 3 cars than like that one.
Right. It is basically like buying a car. Usually individuals do not buy those cameras. It's usually like a group of people that buy that camera and then they all kind of like share it. That's usually how that goes.
I'm pretty sure Spade shoots on something at that level. He does.
Well, he does movie sets. He's probably shooting on Ari, honestly.
Yeah, he told it to me once, and I didn't even hear the brand. I was just like, neat. I had no idea like what it was.
Yeah, it could be like a Panasonic or an Ari or one of the other mini cameras out there. But our Ari is one of the more popular ones, and I think he's told me he shot on that.
Yeah. So I aspire to a lot of that. I don't know if I do anything cool enough yet that warrants it, but someday I'm gonna like it'll be worth me, maybe renting like one of those crazy cameras. I don't know what it would have to be like. Yeah, juggling on a volcano with like visual. I don't even know, but I'm gonna do
something that would be like worth it. Yeah, I'm sure there's something out there.
So your story is you did something that you loved, and then during quarantine, you wanted to do something to help the community, and obviously we're staying home so that but you still wanted to communicate with people. I think that's pretty noble. I think a lot of people a lot of flower artists went to a dark place during that time. Yeah. And they just stopped posting. You're like, whatever happened to like, so-and-so? It's like, dude, I haven't heard from them in forever. So I'm glad you like stayed putting content out because your stuff's really touching and like motivational because you're pioneering a lot of stuff with Levy and teaching a lot of stuff. So for you to keep doing it, we'll never know. There's no way to quantify it, but you probably helped like 200 people, 300 people stay out of a funk.
Yeah. I hope so. Freaking, it also helped me a lot too, because like having something to focus on every week and having like a mission, like, okay, this is what I'm doing this week. I have to shower. I have to like, clean my room to make sure the space looks good. So I physically had to do a lot of self-care things in order to make these videos. So it was definitely a lot. Like it was giving back, but it was also helping me. I didn't realize it was helping me so much like when I got into it, but like, wow, it literally kept me afloat. My brain would not have handled that.
That's a good point, because your sets are usually pretty photogenic. Like right now, I think I think it's a little bit cluttered or messy or whatever, but like, it's
It's
not too
cute
bad.
though.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
went back, I was like, okay, like move that clutter off of there. What the heck is that
Yeah.
thing? Throw that away. So
Yeah.
it does force you to like stay clean.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
that's cool. So then you got into, you decided to do, as far as I could tell, pretty much the hardest type of photography is shooting fire spinners. The
I
movement, the
agree.
low lighting, the light
Yep.
source, getting the exposure right is impossible. Like
Yeah.
it depends on the prop, right? So
Yes.
like fans, I find like somewhat easy to shoot near
Yeah.
the middle of the burn, but like poi spinners don't know how to stand still.
No.
Juggling, like so hard to capture. Like how
Yes. Well,
Leviwan
because
seems like it might be kind of hard too.
Love You Wand is pretty difficult. You have so it's all about timing. Literally, like if I could like give you the most important information about doing photography is patience. That is like wholeheartely number one thing. If you have patience,
Hmm.
you'll be able to get the shot. So, having a background in flow arts, I know the tricks. I know a lot of these
Mm,
spinners, so I'm very I know like what trick set they're going to go into, because I know these
mm,
people. And like, I've seen them online and things like that. So I know when they're going to come in front of their faces or they're going to do something really close to their body. Because you're waiting for the fire to light up their body. You don't want to shoot when they're behind or doing something behind their back, or they're throwing something up really high in the air. You're not
right,
going to see
right.
the person.
So study subject material,
Yeah.
study the
Yeah.
artist's like patterns ahead of time.
hmm So, like, let's take Flow Mayhem for example. I bet you can think of exactly like the tricks that she's going to go into because you've seen her so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
So,
true.
like, yeah, like you could like think of several other people that are like that as well. So, like when you're if you're getting booked for something with a specific performer or something, go onto their Instagram and look at how they spin. So that way you can already kind of like put a trick list in your mind and kind of wait for those moments to get those shots.
And then on your camera, do you just hold it and it rapid fire gets a bunch, or do you try to like time it?
I time it rapid fire. So
Right.
you're spraying, you're praying. That's just like
Pray
the
and pray.
nature of the beast.
Yeah.
Spray and pray. Unless you're doing portraiture. So if you're doing something like portraiture, yes, you can do like one at a time because you have the person like standing still. But when you're shooting an event or things like that, you don't really have the luxury of having that like, hey, stand here, don't
Right.
move, look at me, smile. So yeah.
Okay, so I might jump around to another question then. Like, if you're spraying and praying, how many photos do you take of, say, a fire artist at like fire drums? Does it take 100 photos to get one good one that you put in the album, or 10 to
Um,
1, or like what's your ratio?
so hmm. Okay, I can tell you this. I shot 20,000 photos at fire drums, which was insane. I know some people are probably like, oh my gosh, Lux, that's too much. And you're right. I did
How
go a
many of
little bit
these was
overboard.
that? 10?
Oh, no, I had 256s. They're the big.
250. Okay, right.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. They're
really? So they
I
could fit
have big
on two.
cards.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then the Sony has two slots, and then I brought extras, and I run a 2 camera system too. So, well, I guess I wasn't really running that too much at Fire Drums. But yeah, so yeah, I shot 20,000 photos, and out of those 20,000, I had about 800 that I like deemed like good enough, and that's my level of good enough.
And then it takes a couple days with photos. It's like let's say you give yourself a week to bounce them to the client. Day one
Yeah,
is boil off half of them. Day two is
yep,
boil off another half. Now you're down to
yep,
800. And then it's like, you can't all in one day. Dude, that's too much mental load for me, at least, to like
yes,
select them. I'll be like, I'm just going to select the first third of them and I'll put the rest in
yeah,
the pile for later. I'm like, I'm going to focus on this. Cause if you just try to keep going, you ever
yeah,
get like fatigued, like decision fatigue,
yes,
keep or not
yes,
keep. And then it's like, because my dad growing up taught us, we'd play Like It or Launch It on the radio,
yeah,
where we like, if you have 3 seconds to decide,
yeah,
otherwise, you're stuck with it. And then when it
yeah,
came to, because he was a photographer as well, he would
yeah,
have us come look and he'd be like, you have 5 seconds to choose between these two. And he'd just sit there toggling between the two
yeah,
photos. one or two, one or two, one or two. And he's like, okay, well, I'll just delete both of them then. We're like, no.
Yeah.
And so like, I realized from a young age, like how fatiguing it can really be to pick from all these.
Mm-hmm. I am very, very lucky, and my boyfriend is a professional photographer as well. So if I get really stuck, I'll look at him. We have a tandem desk. I'll be like, "Hey, babe, like, what do you think about this photo? Or what do you think about this?" He'll be like, "Nix it, nix it, nix it." I'll be like,
Oh
"All right,
my
perfect, thank you."
God, that's so lucky. Okay,
Yeah,
well
I
then
know, and then I do the same thing for him when he needs it. So I'm like, "Yeah, it's perfect."
I did want to know, what is it like in other ways to date a professional photographer?
Oh my God, it's so amazing. I'm literally dating my favorite photographer. He's the best.
Goals. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
so nice. That's like the
he
best.
is so good. His bread and butter is event photography, like working with like celebrities. He shot Jack Harlow,
Yeah, Jack Harlow.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, the other day in freaking babe, who was it? Wiz Khalifa?
Yes, he was there.
Yeah, it was Khalifa. So
What?
like, yeah, he shot like 50 Cent, Marshmello. Like
That's
he works
rad.
with like, yeah. So so he's been helping me train a lot. So I take that kind of mentality and mindset when I go to a flow festival. So I'm shooting the flow festival as if I were shooting a really high end like show or festival or something, like something that like I wanted to bring that aspect, that bouginess to fire drums.
Good. We deserve it. It's the really good photographers are, I don't want to say there's bad photographers. I just don't know them, but like, it seems like the top level ones are always booked and they're really busy, and there's just too many of us in proportion to the really good photographers. So since you're at the events, like organizing them and teaching and stuff, the fact that you're also filming, I'm like, I know Lux is busy. But those photos turn out so good, and then you put them in a public Google Drive album. It's just like, I wish there was more people doing that in the Pacific Northwest. I want to eventually be that. So like,
do it. There's also Vitz photos in the Pacific Northwest.
Yep, I have that. I just added that one. Do you know Vitz? Yeah, he came.
I love him.
Anything he's gotten of me, I'm like, I'm like, did you edit like me to look better? He's like, nah, it's all you, homie. I'm like, no, seriously, like this is like the best. I use one of them for from like Fire Drum or from Kindle year before.
Yeah.
Like the first Kindle. And people are always like, where'd you get this photo? I'm like, this guy named Vitz. He's so good. And I sat with him in the fire circle and I was just watching him. He's so relaxed. It doesn't look like he's shooting that much, or his body language is chill. He's got 2 cameras, like he's just super relaxed, but the quality is impeccable.
He's very patient, and that's the key, man. Patience. He likes to sit, and I am, because I'm a fire performer and I've spent well over a decade in that fire circle. I'm sure shit getting in that fire circle. So you're gonna see me at Kendall, and I have a whole outfit. I have a high visibility vest. It's hot pink. I have a light that goes on my head, and sometimes I'll throw a light mount on my my camera too.
As a photographer, I see. Yeah.
As a photographer, I'm in there. I am freaking in the circle. I don't give a fuck.
No, it's honestly is I love from skating and snowboarding and like surfing and stuff. I would like point of view follow cam. It makes the viewer feel like they're also hitting the jumps or like in the fire circle, and you can sort of feel the heat. And like sometimes what Maddie taught me was like, he's really obsessed with the sound of fire. And so he'll keep the audio, and I don't know if he just does correction or whatever to boil it, because there's like noise removal or hum removal. He'll keep, and when there's like right when somebody first lights up, there's that whoosh whoosh. He'll edit that in where the beat's about to drop. He'll put some whooshes in, and then when it drops, so like I absolutely love that. But at Kindle, it would be hard because you'd be right by the speakers. How would you isolate it? He always managed to like prioritize that fire sound.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Huh.
Yeah, I guess you could also just like pre-record. Clip. Yeah, you could like clip it and just add a layer of just it, but that would be blasphemous to him, I'm sure.
Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
But like hey, movie magic, man. That's how
Yeah.
things actually that's why I was messaging you earlier about equipment. I was like, do you want me, because I have audio recording and I have camera systems, like the whole shebang. So I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I didn't know if you wanted me to like external record and like send you that, but no, this works. This is
Okay, so I
easy.
have two questions about dating another photographer and
Oh
then like
yes.
filming sort of like flow. So what's the word? It's not flow celebrity. What are we calling them? Like
Flow famous.
flow
That's what
famous.
I've
Thank
always
you.
called them. Yeah.
So on that note is like, have you ever worked with Liz?
Liz Knights.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, of course.
I
Of
figured.
course.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
She seems like she'd be so easy to film because she knows how to stand and like she'll move the
Yes.
exact things that need to move. Where other
Yes.
people are always like, she's like very much professional with it. So like, if there's anyone
Oh,
I would want to film, it would be like Liz for like 5 reasons. The photos would look good. It'd be
yep.
relaxing. You'd get to see
Hmm.
what high level circ delight, circ contracts look like and everything.
Yep.
So that's got to be fun to work with her.
Yeah, she's amazing. I've known her for gosh, probably about a decade now.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, she lives in my area. I see her all the time.
Oh, that's awesome.
I should hit her up and actually film something or shoot something. I've done some photos with her, and like you said, like she's very easy to shoot
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
And since I've known her for so long, I know the trick sets she's going to go
Yes.
into. The different types of things, and yeah. So I'm very familiar with how she moves.
Yeah, she manages to make tech poi look good. Where like as a techie poi spinner myself, I'm usually like, I know this looks bad. Like I'm like, don't pay attention to this. This is more for me. Like if I'm gonna actually do flowers and stuff. But she makes tech poi look really good too.
Yeah.
Like shout out to her for pulling that off because that's like one in a million.
Oh, I know. Yeah, she's great. I love her.
Actually, I would say you do too because you do like these leg balance things that normally would look too techie where I'd be kind of, but like with fire, I was like, okay, that's still dancey, but that just comes with that decade of performing and knowing how to do it. So I think both of y'all have a not vibe, like a aesthetic that's like difficult or technical, but still also considered dance, I would say.
Yes. I mean, the same with Aileen and whatnot. Like, so it like once you get to that level of like you are doing this like a decade plus, you start thinking more about what your body is doing along with the tricks versus just drilling the tricks all the time. Like, yes, we're still drilling the tricks, but like, yes, I'm going to do this trick, but how is this going to follow through? How is this going to move with my body? And then at what point do I move into the next trick that's also going to look as fluid and like as nice? So yeah, the mentality definitely changes over so many years of doing it.
Yeah, for like my Fire Entertainer of the Year set, I focused more on the transitions than I did the like patterns. And a lot of people said feedback like, oh, I hadn't seen you do a set like that before. I can't put my finger on what it was, but it seemed like you put more effort into it. But it was kind of like the same tricks you usually do. I don't know if I said all that, but I was like, it's because I like played with finding transitions between them as opposed to stalling out, especially with poi, where it's like if they tangle or stall or something, it's like you kind of lose the aesthetic. So I feel like because I'm pushing a decade. I'm pushing a decade this year, if not last year, depending on when. So I'm like, I have some of the same thought patterns. Anyway, have you gotten your boyfriend into flow yet?
No, he has not gotten into flow. He was gonna come to Kindle with me. He hasn't even been to a flow festival yet, but he's too busy to be able to take that much time off. But next year at Fire Drums, I am dragging him. He has to come.
Oh yeah. Yep. That is a good move because imagine doing like I just started dating a young lady and we did our first we did 2 partner acts this last week and like I have a whole new love for the art of past hooping, past juggling, partner poi, partner dragon, and I'm just like, oh, my heart is on fire right now. Aww. So anyone who like can experience that, I don't know what partnered levy wand would be. Would it be like one person controls the knob and tether, and the other like kind of like taps the heads of the baton of the wand?
So there's 2 ways you could do it. You could do it long string and you have 2 people manipulating the long string together. Or you have 2 contact levy wanders doing passes and shit together in like different like contacty things.
Oh my God, those both sound so cool. I'm imagining like
They are cool.
I'm
They are very,
imagining
very cool.
like a skip it where you jump over it and sometimes you grab it and let it
Yeah.
wrap around you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, this is yeah. I really hope to see that, if not this summer, but like next summer post.
Etheria does it. I don't do the long string thing, but for the short string stuff, I definitely do some partner stuff with people occasionally. So it's super fun.
Oh, that's rad. Okay,
Yeah.
so to be continued on that one, basically.
Basically.
I use all Apple products when I can. I
Mhm.
use Final Cut Pro because I like
Nice.
airdropping things. Like it maintains the quality of the stock plugins. They're easy to use.
Yeah.
I find it decently easy to download new ones
Yeah.
ish. But I'm pretty happy with the stock plugins. Like, what apps do you use for post editing of video and photo?
I am solely a Adobe
Yeah.
like lover. I
Yeah.
am like the biggest fangirl of Adobe. I use all of it: After Effects, Premiere, um, Photoshop, Lightroom, the Gambit. I
That's how your color
definitely
correction's so good. I knew you were going to say
yes,
that before I even asked.
yes. Yes, 100%. And like, not only that, it is industry standard for the most part. So if I had like an editor, or if I was working on a project with somebody, I would be able to send them those project files, and they would be able to work on them. Unlike if
Yeah.
you're like using DaVinci or using Final Cut or anything like that. Yeah.
Like, what's an M4A? Yeah, Apple does their thing. Their file sizes are a little bit like bigger, I
Yeah.
find, than like the standard size. But then once you get to Adobe, the file sizes are like massive. Because I think
Yes.
Adobe is the only one that can like affect RAW. I don't think I can use
Yes.
RAW in
I
Apple. I'm not sure exactly.
I mean, like iPhone now shoots in RAW, but
Which
emphasis on
really
RAW. Yes.
quotes. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have yeah. I'm
Yes.
gonna type that
There's a
down so I
RAW
don't forget.
option, but like
Does
I
it
don't
actually say
know.
RAW on it on the
Yeah.
14 Pro?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it like Apple RAW? It's like raw dot like something, or is it?
I am not entirely sure what the file is. I mean, I usually like if I'm going to shoot something in RAW, I'm going to shoot it on my camera, like
Yeah,
not on
yeah,
my
okay,
phone.
yeah.
It's like the phone is like, I mean, it works, it does the job, but like I don't like the digital ick factor of shooting on an iPhone. And I feel like the digital like bokeh looks terrible. I hate it so
Oh
much.
my God, it's the biggest thorn in my side. Yeah, it is. The
Oh my
lens,
god, it
the
looks so
unwanted
fake.
ghost trails. I'm like, and then
I
I
know.
accidentally bought like a waterproof case, so like it has some weird material in front of the lens. I'm like, what am I doing?
No.
I want to like chip
Yeah.
it out with a chisel and like have it actually be the lens. Um,
Yes. Yes.
but I digress. You use top of the line. You use Adobe across the board
Yep.
for video and photo.
Yep.
What kind of computer do you have?
So my computer was built. I worked on building it with my old roommate. It's a lot of different parts. It's a tower, multi
Frankenstein.
screens. Yeah, it's what you would expect from a build computer.
Like a water cooler in there with a little water slide, and it's got
Yeah.
RGB going throughout it.
Oh, it has so much RGB.
Yeah, they have
My
to.
whole
I
life
don't
is
even know if they make them
RGB.
without that anymore. Am I right? Like,
Yeah, I know, right? You have to pay extra for that now.
oh yeah. I remember when that first came out because I was into like PC Gamer magazine when I was like
Yeah.
a teenager. My brother was into that. We thought it was so cool. Now I look at it and I'm like, man, I was like, we were into that before. We never bought it, but we were like
Yeah.
into it. Like someday we're gonna have that where you can see all the tower inside of there and everything.
Yep.
Man, yeah, I've never built a computer. I'm gonna like eventually put a new. I think it would be just like a one hard drive storage in my like Mac Studio. I'm gonna be
There you
like,
go.
I did a build finally.
I did it,
I'm
build.
gonna put it in
Yay.
backwards with the wrong hardware 7 times, but
Oh
like I'm
no.
gonna do it.
Yes. Yes. There you go. Yeah. Building a PC is much easier than it has ever been. It's basically plug and go. You just kind of, you get the motherboard and then you just plug everything into that. I think the hard part is more like getting all the software all right. But I have a beautiful boyfriend who is very good at that. So I'm like, you can
He's
deal with
like,
software.
20 hours later, like,
Yes.
troubleshooting. Yeah, my
Yeah.
roommates both built, and I watched them, and they'd be like, "All right, it's built." Nothing. And I was just
Yes.
like, "Crap!" They go
No.
like they use like the wrong like bolt or wire or something, and it's like
Yeah.
undoing solders at some point. I was like, "Dude, get me
Oh
out of
gosh.
here," or something. I
Yeah,
don't
we
know what
didn't
they
have to solder anything in my computer. So
I don't even know what it was. It probably
yeah.
was just like a plug and play. But I've built like some little baby circuit boards before,
There you
and
go.
it's okay. Like I was
Yeah.
proud at the end of the day we did it, but it was like not my not my forte. It was interesting but boring at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
Um,
I do not find joy in building computers. I just find joy in using built computers because
they're
it
so
runs
fast.
like, oh, they're so
Butter.
fast and it runs like a tank. And I didn't have to spend like $3,000 and I could update parts in it whenever I need to. So
Okay,
it's
I'm pretty
lovely.
envious. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got the
It's
Mac
cost
Studio,
effective.
and it had more problems than my 2011 Mac, my
Oh,
2022 M1 chip.
wow.
Yeah, it was about 6 months of like banging my head against the wall.
Yeah,
Any new
they're
product,
fun.
because I have like studio monitors, I have a audio interface. I record here, so
Yeah.
it's just like a major headache. So, what would
Yeah.
be your tip? Would be to build. Then you would like encourage
Oh
people
yeah.
who have the budget to build.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you have, the ability to choose what exactly is going in your computer. You could fork over the money and buy a brand new Mac, but I think that that's going to end up being way more expensive than just building your own computer. And
Outdates.
there's yeah, there's tons of YouTube tutorials and things like that. And of course, there's tons of people that know how to do it. So, maybe you have a friend that you don't know knows how to make computers.
I'll trade them a juggling lesson or something.
Yeah.
For post editing, I also use a cute little app called PixArt. It's just like a
Oh,
little
cute.
subscription. It's just a cute little thing, but like it's not one of like it does have the AI photo editing, but it also
Yeah.
has like these. It's just called like HDR and like
Okay.
crisp and like oil painting and these filters that you
Yeah.
can. There's a little slider, so it's a very subtle touch.
Yeah.
Where and you can. It's so much faster than editing in the Mac plugin,
Yeah.
like Photos app. And then at the end of that, then I do take it to the Photos app and just click the little magic wand, which like optimizes for probably social media. It's just like a
Yeah.
catch-all color correction. So I take shortcuts like all day for artistic output.
Yeah, I mean, but if that works for you, do it. You don't have to spend hours and hours poring over a photo.
Oh my gosh, I traveled with this young lady. She was like editing, she was doing photography of fire performers. She was like individually brushing their skin for
Yep.
color correction. She spent like
Yeah.
30 minutes on one photo, and I was like, "Hey, have you ever tried like using this?" She didn't know about it. It was a one-touch thing. It was called like the skin
Oh no.
tone correction. And
Yeah.
she's like, "I've been doing this for months." I'm like,
Oh.
"What?"
Yeah. Oops. Oops.
Like,
Yeah, I definitely so with like doing batch photos for like big festivals and stuff where I have like tons, like hundreds of photos that I'm going to be delivering, I'm not doing all that. But like if I am hired out to do a photo shoot with somebody, I like, I'm delivering, like 7 to 10 finalized photos. Those are getting brushed. Those are definitely
yeah,
getting a lot of love.
yeah.
Making sure that they're perfect.
So we could maybe take a quick little sojourn over to the fire drums photos, just so we can talk,
Yeah.
sort of look at what you're doing. I'm just going to start with the first photo.
Okay.
Actually, I'll just have you start like I'll just talk about the artists and what I'm seeing, and I'll put these on the final video. But like shooting someone like Marvin, I would say you
Yes.
definitely applied like knowing the artist well and knowing how he stands and everything. Um, do you have that? Do you have the ability to pull up that album? I could put it in the chat.
Yes, I do. Yeah, if you want to put it in the chat, that'll be faster.
Where is the chat in this? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I was literally just
Like a
thinking that.
little speech bubble.
Oh, there.
There it is. So yeah, I'll edit it into the video, but for now, you and I can
Okay.
just look at it and talk about it.
So we're looking at which give me the last 3 digits.
832. Is that the
8.
first one for you?
It is not. Yes, it is the first one. Okay.
Yeah, we could just
Oh
go in order.
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, so that shot of Marvin, like, I really like how the poi is near his face, but not blocking it. And I like how you can tell the
Yeah.
handles are LED, but they're not like
Yeah.
too bright. I just think that the
Uh-huh.
lighting was really nice. The body positioning was really nice. Like it's lighting him up, but it's not washed out at
Mhm.
all. Was would you say this shot was like decently easy to get?
Yeah, so Marvin doesn't move a whole lot, so shooting with Marvin is very simple. But with this photo, I actually like I almost nixed this one because the poi is a little too in front of his face.
That's always the
But
tough call.
yeah, but I do really like this one.
Yeah. I like how
Yeah.
I broke down. I can't fucking find the file. I broke down the 10 aspects of what makes poi aesthetic. It was
Yes.
like yeah, one of them was tether tension. And I
Yes.
started studying like I started with Patrick Fitz and we were like debating like what
Yeah.
made poi look good and neither of us could
Uh-huh.
like articulate it. And I don't know
Yeah.
where the fucking file went, but like I'm gonna find it.
Oh,
And this hits like
yes.
several of them. His hands aren't clamped
Yes.
super hard, showing that
Yep.
he's not working too hard. His
Yep.
eyes are nice and open, his mouth's
Hmm.
closed. His shoulders look good. The
Yep.
tethers are tight, his feet are nice and wide apart.
Yep.
I just thought it was a great photo.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I really like this one too. The light was
Hmm.
perfect. This was
Oh,
right.
difficulties. We're just going to pick up where we left off. We were commenting on the aesthetics of poi, and I think we
Yes.
both felt like this photo has a lot of like aesthetic elements to it. Um,
Hmm.
and we just kind of articulated was the tether tightness, the LEDs, the body positioning, and we were saying sometimes we don't like the prop to be in front of someone's face, but in this case,
Yes.
like it was kind of like maybe like a cool anime scar or something. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't, it just segments it in a nice way. All right, I'm going to jump to
Yes.
the next one, which ends in 544. Is that the next one for you?
Yep.
Wow. So you went from 832 to 544. That's how many photos you have to go through before you get to the next good
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Wow. That's love. Now, this one, I feel like it's telling way more of a story because at first
Hmm.
glance, like her skin looks so good. I
Thank
mean,
you.
like it looks like porcelain, right?
Yeah.
Is that Amy? Is that her name?
Yeah, it's Amy.
Yeah, so she's doing a contact roll where the fire's on the inside and there's a
Mhm.
gentleman in the background doing something cool, but mainly the subject is really nicely shadowed, focused in the foreground. Like they're in the middle of the photo, they fill it. The prop is like, you know, when they teach you how to draw in like high school and they teach you shading,
Yes.
it's got like
Yes.
ideal shading on it. It's
Yep.
almost like, how is there that much light coming from that little flame? Is flame like more
Right?
luminous than I realized? Like it's so well lit.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was definitely at the beginning of her burn. With props like that, like you gotta get at the
Hmm.
beginning because as soon as like it starts diminishing, you see how little light is on her.
Hmm.
Like you completely lose it. But if you look at the guy behind her, he has a dragon staff. He's like completely lit, and that's clearly not the beginning of his burn. You know?
Right. Yeah. So the prop plays a large role in the lighting.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And I find that like um props where they're all out in front of you are sometimes like
Hmm.
even harder. Like I really like snakes with poi because there's one behind me and one in front. So it's two
Yeah.
sources of light and it gives a really nice like dimension to it. This one, you really can't see the back of her head. You can see the back of her legs, but I almost feel like super like zooming in and just cropping like just the hoop and her face and her upper body. I might just
Ooh, yeah, that would have been good.
but
Yeah, I
no, what you
ended
did
up
was
just going with
perfect.
the. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, this is a A
I was like,
plus
oh, that would
shot.
have been good too.
It
Thank you.
kind of looks like her hand is on fire, even too. I love that about fire shots
Yeah.
when it looks like something else is on fire. And people always like, "Was your hat on fire in
It's
this
like,
shot?"
no.
I'm like, "No," but like I could see why you would think that.
Yes, 100%.
So yeah, another banger. Like, yeah, Amy, she's such a good hooper.
She is.
I'm gonna jump
Another.
to.
Oh, okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say another performer that I am very familiar with
Mhm.
and like her work.
I've been her a couple times in Portland. She did an act out here. It was like the audio for the like her song was like the sound of birds chirping, and she was wearing
Yes.
like bright blue, and she's just so smiley. But then it's also
She's
all
the
this tech.
best.
Where I find with hooping, it's
Yeah.
often like one or the other. But she was like it was like
Yep.
happy tech. So
Hmm.
the nerds and like the tech nerds and the like I don't know what to call them, like cheerleader types or whatever. Like they were
Yeah.
all encapsulated in one performance.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
does
Beautiful.
it's she does a three hoop trick where she balances it on her. I just watched her IJA tricks of the month like 2 days ago. She's like juggling them, and they just roll up her arm and then swap.
Mhm.
She does a cascade
Yeah.
with them all in contact, which I've never seen anyone else do.
Oh
But
wow. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that yet, so I'm definitely gonna have to go check that out after we're
oh my
done.
gosh,
Yeah,
it's
she's
so well
amazing. She's
filmed.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh, probably. Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna jump to the front portrait of the DJ where it ends in
Okay.
286.
Yep,
I
I
don't
see
know
it.
this DJ, but like I wish my hair and beard looked half that good.
Right.
This looks so good. The hand
Thank you.
positioning. You can actually, what's really interesting is you can see the waveform. You can see
Mhm.
the digits on like the readout.
Mhm.
And I have a Pioneer, I have an XDJ sitting next to me
Oh,
right here.
nice.
And so I'm like, oh, I can relate to that. I really
Mhm.
like how he's doing something active. He looks serious.
Yes.
He looks like this is just a really well framed, like the thing in the
Thank you.
background is framing him nicely.
Yep.
Did you have a strobe on the camera for that?
So I actually had a Loom Cube on my camera for this. So when
Shout out Loom
I
Cube.
right, shout out Loom Cube. But for shooting at fire drums, they specifically said no flash photography. So I
That's
was like,
right.
that's fine. I have continuous lights, so I'm good.
Yeah, he
So
doesn't look greasy or anything. Like
nope,
he's just lit up. Which do you know? Was it on like a warm light?
no, it was just a white light with a diffuser on it.
Yeah, it's diffused really
Yeah.
nicely. It feels like I have night vision because I know that's a dark
Yes.
booth.
Yes, yes, it is. They do not light it for the DJ whatsoever.
And
It is all about the fire performers,
on some of those X
clearly.
DJs, the older versions don't have lit up buttons, so you can like be like
Yeah,
take out like how do you unless you have muscle memory, you can press the wrong button. Like
exactly, exactly. Freaking. But basically, for shots like these, because I shoot high end nightlife here in Boston, so I do a lot of photography with DJs, and so I usually look for moments where they're fiddling on like pushing the buttons or fiddling with the I don't know what all the things are, but the wheel that spins,
the
the
jog wheel.
yes, yes, that thing. So I'll look for moments when they have their hands on the deck. And I usually like get in front. And because the DJ booth had all of these like leading lines, I made sure to line his head up
Hmm.
with the lights in the back. So
Yeah,
this was a very thought out and
intentional.
intentional photo. Yes.
Yeah. Um, do you know who that DJ is?
No. He was
He
just
look
like, can you take some pictures of me? I'm like,
yeah.
sure.
All right, I'm gonna jump to 563, another shot of Amy. Just
Okay.
real quick, like something I'm starting to notice about your flames is like
Hmm.
I don't really get how you're getting such good like depth to the flames because it seems like there's no motion blur of the subject, but then the
Hmm.
flames are really strong, which is like a theme of your fire photography is where there's a lot
Yes.
of like it's not motion blur of the flame, but it's a lot of evidence of movement of the flame, but then the
Yeah.
subject isn't moving. I'm like, is this like two shots combined or how are you getting
No.
these?
No, it is one shot. So basically, like when you're shooting any type of performer or any type of movement, like like automatically, that your shutter speed needs to be high.
Yeah.
Like so that's how there's no motion blur whatsoever in my photos because like I'm cranking that shit. Like, but like with the shooting fire, your settings are moving all over the place constantly, depending
Yeah.
on what the prop is or what time of the shoot that you're doing it.
Mhm.
So like there is no really like clean settings that
Right.
I would
I
say like
wasn't
this
even
is
gonna
perfect
ask.
for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's just you just can't, like it moves too much. But just keep in mind with fire photography, don't blow out the highlights, and remember that you're shooting things that are fast.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll probably do great. I
Yeah,
always blow them
well,
so
like,
hard.
well, just think about that as you're doing it, and you'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
like this
Yeah.
is how you do it.
Keep your thumb on that little jog wheel, the scroll wheel, and
Hmm.
just keep it
Hmm.
so you're not blowing it out. Let's go
Yep, don't blow it
to
out.
631. I see my friend Taz in there, and then I see some Midnight Reverie garb, and
Yes.
then some slit weave, which I'm super into the
Yep.
slit weave. I make it, I wear it, I sell it, like
Oh, I
anything with
love that
slit
stuff.
weave. So
Yeah.
this one is crazy. Like there's so much flame trail,
Uh-huh.
and the blue of the flame right up against the wick is still intact,
Yep.
but
Yep.
the subject is not blurred. I swear it's like two
Yes.
photos or something.
No,
It's
no.
it's wild.
The shutter speed, it is high, like it is, you want to make sure that you are capturing that moment. And yeah, you gotta crank it up. And this also helps that if you look in the background, you could see the blue in the sky. The
Mhm.
sun was starting to come up, so I also had the benefit of sunlight that was also helping me in that situation too.
Man, that's still a packed fire circle for sunrise, and good for you for
Oh
being out
hell yeah.
there, still getting good shots
Yes.
all night.
Yeah, I usually don't stay up all night, but Saturday night I ended up staying up the entire time. And there's moments where I put the camera away, of course, but
Mhm.
as soon as sunrise came up, you only get about probably a half hour,
Oh
maybe,
yeah.
20 minutes or something, from where it'll go from, complete darkness to you're starting to hit blue light. So like, as soon as you hit blue light, you're fucking out there, man. Like you got
Yep.
20 minutes, like go.
Yep. Yeah, it's there's some joke here where it's like people look good at sunrise until the sun's all the way up, and then it's like, and then they're
Yes.
like haggard from the night
Crusty.
before.
Yes. The crusty kittens. Oh my gosh. I love fire festivals. They're so fun.
Oh, me too. I did stay up when I went to fire drums, not this year, but the last year. I did stay up till
Yes.
sunrise. And I was like, well, that was worth it. Super cool.
Yeah. It's crazy.
All right, I want to jump a couple more down. Let's go to 184. This one is like the two young ladies in like schoolgirl
Well, I
school.
think that is her partner, and I think that's a man behind
Oh,
her.
oh, okay. That booty though, yeah, I could
I know he's got a
really.
great ass.
This is
So
why I'm glad I never assume anything and I always
this
keep
is
an open
true.
mind. So
Yeah.
tons of flame blur. I don't know, is it a
Mhm.
fan or some sort of, are they
Yeah.
flogging or?
No, it looks like it is a fan. This photo, I definitely blew out the highlights a bit. You can tell. The fans that he's holding, you can see the sea blowout in it, and then down here
What's with
next to
like
where
the
my name
wicks
is.
though?
There's
So the blowout, you mean where it
yeah.
looks like it's kind of like blurred? Or like, because it looks like
No,
the wick, the tethers or whatever they are, kind of like. Do you see what I'm saying
so
on the left side?
yeah, they kind of do look a little blurred. But no, it's the parts where the white, like the flame is like super white.
Hmm.
Like that's blowout. You don't want that.
Oh, I looks at. Oh, now I see what you're saying. It kind of looks
Yep.
intentional. It looks like a. It's like that's why I said the LUT. Like I thought the blue was just so vibrant in all these shots where
Thank
there's
you.
blue flame. And her
Yes.
face
I
is crisp.
definitely so the blue flame, that is like I'm absolutely shooting for that. But it's the white parts of the flame that are too white. Like that's what the
Hmm.
blowout is.
I see what you're
So
saying.
what yeah, so what that is the flame is overexposed.
Mm-hmm.
So in those spots, so I should have, dropped my shutter speed down a bit when that was happening. But like when you're in the fire circle, you don't have time to really like, sit there and fiddle with settings because, the next person's going to come up with
Mm-hmm.
like palm torches or something. And
Yep.
then it's just like, oh, great. You're doing it all over again. So, you've got to be really fast with, changing your settings and knowing what settings to change for. So, yeah.
Yeah. Muscle
So
memory
this
between
photo's
them.
good. Exactly. This photo is good, but this photo is not great.
I
And
see what
and
you're
that
saying.
is
Only
why,
like
yeah,
once you started analyzing it, did I notice that I thought
yeah.
it was an intentional blue flame and the
But
person
the
is
the blue
beautiful and
flame
her
is
body language
intentional.
is nice. Yeah.
The blue
Okay. I see
flame
the
is
difference.
absolutely, yeah, the white stuff. The blue
Mm-hmm.
is what I want, but the white stuff is not what I want.
That's so
I wish
funny
I
because
could
I
like
wouldn't.
circle it for you.
I see it. It's next to the blue stuff in some instances, right next to your name,
Yes.
Lux Luminous at the bottom. There's like a
Yes.
sort
Yeah.
of one pointing to the right. I see it. It doesn't affect me anyway. I still think
Yeah.
it's an A+ photo. The
Thank
checkerboard is clear. The
you.
wrinkles in the shirt are like highlighted really nicely. Her
Yeah.
body language was good. It tells such a story of
Thank you.
her and then him.
Yeah.
Getting it. All
Getting
right,
it.
I'm gonna jump to there's a really nice I just lost it. Crap. There's a really nice shot of Kevin Axtell. In particular, what I like about this one is the
Yes.
splitter. This would be
Yes.
487.
Yeah.
Capturing Kevin, I feel as though he knows how to
Yeah.
pose really well.
He does. He even stops and poses. He is so
Yeah,
easy to shoot. And
yep.
again, another performer that I'm extremely familiar with how he likes to move. So I knew that he was going to do that, and just kind of like, ooh, you know,
Anything with glitter, like I have been just
so pretty.
dousing my like swords in glitter, and then I just go full hype man, and I just start like smacking them together and get people clapping and cheering because the explosions are so big. But then when I do it, it rains the powder down me
Hmm.
because I don't like rub it into the wicks, and it's not a tight
Oh
weave or
yeah.
something. So I'm
Yeah.
just like there's like titanium like going into my hair, like in my shirt.
Oh
It doesn't hurt or anything. I'm just like, I hope that doesn't like ignite because
no.
it's
Yeah.
everywhere. But it's so
Like,
cool,
it is very, very
and it
cool.
makes
It's
your
very
drops
pretty.
really obvious because then if it hits the ground, it's like.
Yeah. It's like, oops.
So nothing too like special about it. I just really like that you can see the splitter in it because he's
Yes.
standing still, but it's still telling a story. It's like a Disney effect, you know?
Yeah, most definitely. If you wanted to see a good photo depicting the blue flame, 8664, two rows down is very good. It's the guy with the fire tightrope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was scrolling earlier and I was like, that must be a fire tightrope. And what's really interesting
Yes.
about this one is um compared to Scramble, because Scramble does
Yeah.
a slack line that he lights, and the flames are decent size there. I don't
Oh
know if
yeah.
they're this big, but first of all, that's like a rope. It's not
Yes.
flat, so it's harder to balance on. Second
Yeah.
of all, the whole thing is dipped. I'm pretty sure when he does it, I think they dip like this much of it, and there's a little patch for him to stand on the middle. I'm pretty sure that
Oh
whole
wow.
thing is dipped. And then I'm
Yes.
like, how did they
It
set that
was.
up in a fire circle?
I'm
Like,
not entirely sure. I was running around at that point, and I just turned around and saw this guy trying to get on here. It took me a few shots to get this shot because the flame was so large. It
get in the
was
way.
he kept getting like way blown out, so I had to keep adjusting my settings. And then,
That
of
patience.
course, yeah, patience. But of course, like with a fire tightrope, a lot of those kind of props don't stay lit for very long.
Mm-hmm.
So like trying to get in there and get the shot without the exposure changing too much was very hard. Very, very
Oh,
hard.
I can imagine. Yeah, that blue flame just looks like straight anime or something out
Yeah.
of an art piece. It's so cool.
Yes. And I have definitely like I want that to be like my signature with doing like fire photos and whatnot, because most all the other big fire photographers in our arena don't do that. So I'm like, okay, sweet, I'm gonna do that. And that could be
Yeah,
like my little like Lux touch.
yeah,
Of course have
and
to have the blue.
yeah, and it's like these flames also even look like a dragon or something. The more I look at it, like there's just so much depth to them.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so let's find another one. Let's do a fire breathing one, which is two to the right of
Yes.
that, 8557. I recognize that crew. I love how you can
Yes.
see the water droplets. I love how each person has a different like stage. You know, the person in the middle is obviously like
Yes.
way more earlier in the burn. The gal, I don't know. Oh, I think it's hers is combined with another person's
Another
next to her.
person.
It looks like hers is huge, but that
Yeah.
guy in the middle compared to the guy next to him, it's two like. Do they have different pressure in their lungs? Is it a different
Yeah.
fuel? Do they there's just so much character to the fireball. Um,
Yes.
and on the
There's a
far left, looks
really,
like someone's head is on fire. Like it's
yeah.
so much going on.
There is a really good photo depicting exactly what you just said, like different fuels and things at different times. So 8434, that's another row down or two rows down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. Cornstarch
Yeah.
is like
So
liquid fuel.
Yep. So you can see the people that are obviously using cornstarch because it gives that blue kind of effect off of
Yeah.
the, yeah. So that's cornstarch. And then you can see all the people that are clearly using just regular lamp oil and the different parts at different times of the breaths as well. That one's a really good way to see that.
That's at least like 10 people breathing. That's probably the
Yeah.
hottest moment of the whole event is
Yeah.
that guy in the middle.
Yeah.
Holy
I was
guacamole, that's
like, that
wild.
is toasty. It was very toasty, but I was very excited to get that shot. I was like, yes. Or actually, here, even 8436, you can really see it. The different colors of the chemicals.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
It's
there you
like a
go.
it looks like a nebula. It
Right?
literally looks like a forming galaxy or something. That's
Yeah.
and then the lighting on the person in the middle, his
Yeah.
shirt is blue on one side and then orange on the other.
Yep.
That is fantastic. That's ridiculous. The
Yeah,
science of
thank
that. I
you.
actually don't know why. So would that mean that the blue one is burning hotter?
So when it comes to those, like, I don't know. I think that because of the chemical makeup, it
Oh
just
yeah.
burns differently.
Oh,
I don't, because, like, with a regular flame, yes, the blue part is the hotter part, but when you're working with different chemicals, you get different colors. So I think that question would be better put to the people using these types of chemicals instead of what other people are using.
oh, like the Flow Arts prop construction
Yeah,
page is
like
so
ask them
full of
or
intelligent fire safety
yes.
and discussion. They know it
Yeah,
so
that
much.
one or the fire breathers group, just asking them if it is hotter or not. But yeah, cornstarch is always so crazy to shoot because it's like it's not as bright either, which is really interesting. So you'll see like different, like almost you have to expose for it differently. But I was obviously exposing for lamp oil there, and so of course, trying to get all of the stuff
Wait, why is it
in the
not
shot
exposed for the lamp oil
because there's
or
more people.
the
The cornstarch, because
Mhm.
more people were using lamp oil. So I went
It
with the
seems like it captured
majority.
both of them well. How would you change it
It
if you
did.
were to expose?
If I was, well, it would have blown out the other fireballs. So the other fireballs wouldn't have been exposed properly at all.
Wow. Yeah, like I can't even believe that there's anywhere else to go from here. It's just so perfect. I can't imagine that like you're at a
Thank
level
you.
where you could still see more potential in this moment.
Oh, of course. I mean, there's always room for growth. If you stagnate, don't stagnate. You're not
I
growing
think
as an artist anymore.
let's go to I think I clicked to the right like two or three times. 8229. I think it's a shot of Will. Um
8, yes, that's well.
there's like those poi look gigantic and the
They are.
character of the left side of the shot, his
Yes.
face is lit up almost like a warrior of some type, and that shot
Yeah.
of the poi is like I
Perfect.
caught you could see the monkey fist through the flame. The
Yes.
tether is not lit on fire. The flame is trailing it. It's
Yep.
like that is a incredible. That must have been within like
Oh,
10
it was at
seconds of lighting.
yeah, it was at the very, very beginning of his burn. But yeah, that one was perfect. You couldn't have exposed for the fire any better for that. I
Yeah.
mean,
So
there's a little bit of blowout on the left poi. But yeah, couldn't have gotten
yeah,
much better.
like when you say that, I notice it, but I don't notice it on my own first. It's like one of those things that I only see when you say it. What is that like
Yeah.
orange and blue horizontal stripe at the bottom?
Okay, so I like to use prisms and crystals. So I have this system. It's called the it's from Lynn's Baby. So if you go on to lynsbaby.com, it is the Omni system like lens filter thing that they have, and it screws onto your camera, and you can attach like with a magnet like different crystals and stuff to put. So a lot of them here, I'll show you a better
Lens
picture.
baby.
Yeah, Lens Baby,
Oh,
lensbaby.com. They make
cool.
a lot of like really funky, fun lenses that like do
Prisms.
swirls, and yeah, it's super fun. They're a lot of fun. Let me see here. Oh, yes.
I've definitely seen ads for them on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're wonderful. Okay. So yeah, here's one where you can really see it. So you're gonna have to scroll down a bit for this. So it is 2823. It's of Etheria and Drew.
Okay, I see two. I think I can do Control F, 2823. There we go. Whoa, yeah, now I can see the lens. Wow, there's a lot going on. So blue, orange, the prism, the lighting. I think that's
Yep.
must be the bubble.
Yes, it's the
Whoa,
bubble thing.
his
Yeah.
hand. Yeah, his hand in that prism.
Yeah.
And what's really crazy is there's blue on the flame in the prism, but not on his
Yeah.
actual hand.
It's so weird.
The prism does a little bit of like diffracting or something where it like that's so sick.
So. Yeah. So I like to use like different crystals and different filters and stuff just to like make my photos like stand out even more. Just because you do see a lot of the same fire photos all the time. It's just like, well, you know what? Let's do something a little different.
It's super sick. Yeah, and it's like I can tell this is like might be dumb, but like I can tell it wasn't done in post. I can tell it's like a mechanical thing. I don't know why I can tell.
I think because it looks organic.
Yeah, I don't even know how to put my finger on it. That is so sick.
Thank you.
It's one of those photos that if you look at it longer, like what's going on in the background? Is that a tree lit up? Then you look and you see like the foam thing, and you're like, is that bubble foam? Their outfits are really cool. His facial expression. She's more smug. He's more like amazed.
Yes. Thank you.
Let's do like one or two more, and then we'll wrap it up with some of the questions about like philosophy and those kind of things. So I'm just scrolling. These are so magical. I think I see some lycopodium powder.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do 2678. Is a shot of a young. I think I see Yum Yum in the background there.
678.
2678.
Oh, there it is. There's actually a better picture of the Lyco because that's over.
I liked how you could see a lot going on in the background too.
Same. I like that too. If you go down to 2625, that one's much better. I still had a bit of blowout.
Oh wow.
So they had told me that night that it was her birthday, and I was like, yes, I will shoot all the things. And I was like in the middle of like talking to people, and then I get tapped on the shoulder. I turn around, and it's like all these people doing all this crazy stuff, and Morgane's like whipping that thing around. So I didn't have enough time to expose for it exactly how I wanted to, just because it was like so fast.
I don't know how you would. Other than doing video and then screenshotting it. So I don't even know how you would. It's such a fast thing.
It is so fast. So, and especially with Leica powder, you only get like, maybe 3 or 4 good, whips of it and before it's out. So I had to act extremely fast to make sure, because like, you're getting the shot and you don't have enough time to like, okay, now let me like look at the shot and review it and adjust. There is no time to adjust. So you just have to like, pray that you get the shot.
This wasn't, this is skill. Like if I was praying, I wouldn't have got it. That's crazy. You got a good trigger finger.
Yes. Thank you.
So that covers a lot of it. Let's see. Speaking of like speaking to people at a festival, just going back to like chatting about them. How do you maximize your fun at a festival? Do you So for me, I did stay sober. You don't have to speak on that. It helped me a lot because I was working on like an act, and I really wanted to like connect with certain people, and I was there for Flow on Fire, and I wanted to like do it. And I have had just as much fun tripping, drinking, smoking, you name it, pick your poison. I enjoy it. But like it was my first one fully sober, and like I had an absolute blast. I felt really in control. I didn't even do that many classes. I was able to like participate, and I won one of the circus games, and I felt like I maximized my fun. Left early on Sunday. Like,
nice.
Like how do you maximize your fun at Fire Drums?
So at Fire Drums, I actually so recently I stopped drinking like as heavily as I used to. You know, you hit your 30s, you have, I would drink like Fireball and stuff and like wake up the next morning and be like, all right, let's get on with the day. And
Yep.
then like the past couple of years of doing flow festivals, it's like, okay, I feel awful. Like
Yeah.
I feel so sick while I'm here
Same.
and I hate this feeling, And so this year what I did was I didn't buy any liquor. I bought like some Trulies, some seltzers and stuff. So
Yeah.
and I didn't drink throughout the day. So I only had like a few at night. And I mostly just
Loosen up a
like,
little bit.
yeah, loosened up a little
Chatting.
bit, drink with people. On Saturday night, of course, I went a little wily, friends with bottles of wine and, things like that. So of course I got a little hammered that night, but not like too much because like you have such expensive equipment with you. I have the awful fear of it breaking. So you don't
Yep.
want to get too crazy. But of course you want to, enjoy your time. But I also have this rule for when I'm shooting nightlife because, in nightlife you can drink as
Mm.
much as you want at some places. And,
Yep.
the drinking culture is just very prevalent. And so, like I said, it's just like recently in the past couple of years, I have been trying to wean myself off of being so like heavy with drinking because I just don't need it. And so when I'm
Same. Yeah.
shooting, yeah, and so when I'm shooting events and stuff, I'll have like maybe a drink at the very beginning of the night, or I'll drink at the end of the night. And a lot of times at the end of the night, like at the clubs, we'll like do a bunch of shots and like things like that. It's just like
Celebrating hard work.
yeah, exactly. It's just like, okay, my job is done now. I can let loose a little bit. I don't have to worry about my equipment. I don't have to worry about getting the right shot because, like, those things like affect getting the right photos.
If you take too many shots, you won't get the right shots.
Yes, exactly. But like, when I'm at Fire Drums, the way I maximize my fun, like things that I truly enjoy is like being in the water, being close to that water. So I'll spend a lot of my day like in the water,
Same.
hanging out with people. Yes, just being
Same.
cool. I don't like being like overly hot and it gets hot as shit there. Like, no thank
I would skinny dip in that thing like 3 times a day, and
you.
like my
Nice.
homie makes this like all natural soap, so I just kind of like scrub
Yes.
off. And Sierra was like,
Yes.
she texted me afterwards. She's like, dude, it looked like you had always just freshly showered the whole time. Like, how did you do that? I was like, because I camped right next to the
Yes,
river,
I did
and I
too.
had a little cove where I would just like go
Yeah.
dip in there. Like, I feel like $1,000,000. It's so cold and
Oh,
clear.
it's so cold. It's so nice. I brought my hammock. So and I set it up right over the water. So I was
Yo, no way. Okay, so the reason earlier I said it was worth staying up until sunrise is because I made out with this girl on that hammock.
on my
Uh,
hammock.
yes, I
You
wondered
made
who
out with
said.
a girl.
Yeah, it wasn't. We didn't do anything. We just made out. And we're cuddling. I mean, it
You know
was
what?
short. It was sweet. It wasn't. It was. It's pretty
That's
innocent. But
cute.
like, she kept me up until sunrise, and we found that hammock. Yeah, and we were on it, and we were like, whoever set up this hammock is a legend. This is the best
Yes.
hammock spot. Yeah, we
Yes.
cuddled on that for like an hour.
Oh, good. I'm so glad that you guys could like enjoy it. I was
That
enjoying
felt
it
like
all weekend, and like my campmates, we all like took turns, like
yes.
just escaping away from people and just like being on the hammock. And, like, yeah, like I definitely do a lot of relaxing. I
Yeah.
also do a lot of just like sitting around talking with friends. Like I haven't really gone to a workshop in years. Even before, like I was doing photos and stuff. Like I go to flow festivals to see my friends
Hmm.
mostly. So I hang out in like the vendor area and like, hanging out with Cass and like all those friends and homies. Because
Yeah,
I
she's
know
got couches in her booth. Yeah, I get it.
yeah, and the
I was
couches,
there for a little bit too.
yes, or like with Randy or any of them. So like, I'm definitely so the best place to find me usually during the day is if you see a shaded spot with like a bunch of homies, that's usually where I
Yeah,
am.
that's
And
so
then of course,
funny about the hammock. I can't believe that.
that's so funny. But yeah, I usually have my camera on me, so and I'm hanging out with friends. So whenever they're doing cool shit, I'll be like, sweet, let me just get this real quick.
Yep. So that
Yeah.
came up with Fishy yesterday. Is there once was I think Drex did a survey or somebody did a survey of Flow Arts Institute events is like, why do you go? And there
That
was
was
no,
me. I did the survey.
yeah, and there was okay, so it was you. Do you remember what the options were?
Yes. So the
He was saying that there
options,
wasn't an option that included everything, and it was like the hardest thing to choose
yes,
because everyone like they couldn't pick if it
just
was
one.
workshops or the gala. They were like, I go for everything.
Yeah. There wasn't an option for everything. This is correct.
And we both were
But
just in pain because we're like, I go for so many reasons. I can't
but
pick just one.
so with Facebook polls, you can click multiple different ones. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you can pick multiple.
We should. Oh
But
my! It's so funny that the hammock and the survey was you. We were talking about it. I
yes,
was like, maybe I. You know what? I bet you I clicked all of them.
yeah. There's
I
many people who clicked all of them.
I think I must have clicked all of them then. Okay, because I didn't remember thinking to myself that pain, but I was like, it Fishy had very good. They remembered like
Yeah,
the options, and I was like, huh,
yeah,
like that's a good point. I didn't know that you like all the above. Totally makes
yeah.
sense.
I did this same survey for nightlife actually very recently. And basically, well, that one turned out that most people go to nightclubs just to dance. They don't give a shit about the DJs, which was what I thought.
Need some beats. That's
and
it.
yeah, unless it was like, a specific artist, but like, run of the mill, your local DJ, nobody really, unless they know them, doesn't really care if, so and so is playing. They just want to go to a place where they can dance.
Oh, now
But
I see the purpose behind it. Yeah, because DJs have a bit
yeah,
of an ego, and they're like, "Oh, these people are here to see me." It's like, no, they're here because there's like 50,000 watts of bass, and it's
yes,
$10 to get
exactly. But with Flow Arts, it basically showed exactly what I thought was the reason most people go is to be with their friends or to meet people. And like, because that was in the time period of we were arguing about workshops. If we need 50 workshops with like, a completely stacked list of people from all over the world, it's not really that necessary. Most people just want to go because it's a space to be able to be with your friends.
I'm
Like have
not
a
going to
few.
dig too deep into it, but this data, let's just say this data would have been really helpful for a recent conversation that came up. Like
Yeah.
that would
Oh
be so
no.
helpful to put out.
So you're talking about the Drex thing
Yeah.
with like, yes. So me and him have had that fucking conversation like many times. He was there when I made the survey. Like
He has data. He had a survey that would have supported
yeah.
it. Instead, he's just like, "Where's
So
my foot? Let's jam it in my mouth." Because
yeah.
everyone's like, "Okay, like I know that there's a lot of workshops,
Mhm.
and some of the people I do recognize, some I don't.
Yeah.
Inherently, to that, you can form an opinion on whether or not it's valuable. That's just like saying,
Yeah.
is it valuable to have a wireless mouse? Is it valuable to have a Sasquatch mug? Like, but
Yes.
then he just like put his foot in his mouth, and I was like, it was a good conversation, but you just looked like such a jerk. And also, there's data on it. Like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
how interesting.
Yeah, I was really shocked that he said that. I was like, but wait, we've like talked about this. Like, I'm so confused. But yeah, like have a few like big name artists, like a couple, and rotate them out every year. But like have your local people teaching the workshops. Like you want to uplift your local community,
Yeah, I agree with that.
and you don't need to have 50 workshops. Have, like 30, like you don't need to have constant shits. Like have more community building things like games or like,
Mhm.
things of that nature. Because that's what people really like, because people are gonna
Oh,
go home.
fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's so true. I don't always drill the stuff I learned, but I definitely remember winning
yeah.
like the distance
Yes,
pass club
yes,
juggling. Like, I'm not
yes. And it's the thing that everybody talks about like after the event and be like, yo, so and so did this, blah, blah, it was crazy. Like everybody was super happy, like
bags.
yeah, it's like so much more fun to do like community things. And I'm not saying like get rid of workshops. I'm just saying like maybe not focus so much on them,
Or spend so much of the budget on them.
on them. Yeah. Like put more stuff towards games and prizes or, different fun things that will bring the community get together.
So combat juggling, like at a flow festival, there
Yes.
wouldn't be enough where one person would dominate. It's whoever is the combat juggler. We do that at
Yeah.
the Portland Juggling Festival
Oh, of course. Yeah.
every year. And then also, have you ever played Volley Club or seen
Yeah.
that?
Yes.
That's a
Of
really
course.
fun one because
It's a
it's
fun one.
like it shows that competition and teamwork are possible. Some people get really nasty with it and they'll like kind of bend the rules and like spike it at you.
Of
And it's like, whoa,
course.
do I need to be wearing a helmet here? It's like, but
Yeah.
I loft it over. I'm like, I'll just throw like a nice lofty one. And I find Volley Club to be way more enjoyable than combat juggling.
Yes.
And I'll never
And it's
forget.
easy to set up too.
Yeah, it's like, and I'll never forget like this one time, this one guy who has really bad reputation in our
Hmm.
community, like won the 5 ball just stamina contest at the Portland Juggling Festival, and like it touched my heart so much because like it just you never see the guy win. You always feel like he's always
Yeah.
in a bad mood or in a bad state, and to see him win, like he was just so proud, and it was an easy thing to set up, and he
Yeah.
won and just kept going, and everyone
Mhm.
was cheering for him, and I was like, that is competitive, but also everyone felt good about it, you know. So I agree. Yeah,
Yes.
classes
Yes.
versus. I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah.
I've been going to less and less classes. Like I've
Yep.
been hanging with my friends or just drilling in
Yep.
between two classes, just kind of
Yes.
like listening to the vocabulary. I'm just like drilling whatever I'm
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. Like the classes are for people that are like mostly just getting into flow arts. So like gear, make sure that you are still facilitating a place that newcomers can come in and learn the skill sets and feel like they're a part of it and not feel like they're walking into a huge clique. Because
Hmm.
if you were just to focus on games and things like that, then the community becomes so tight that it becomes very difficult for people to enter in. So
Good
you
point.
have to have both. You have to have both. You have to foster both for growth and for retention.
I do this thing where I teach like the no beat cascade with poi. I have everyone line up in a line where they're all facing the same direction, and they
Yeah.
just like throw one poi to the person behind them, do
Yeah.
one beat, throw it to the person behind them, so you're warming up, and then you get to the end and everyone turns around, and then you do it going the other way, and then so it's basically like partner passing where everyone
Yeah.
gets involved. And I'll do the same thing with the dragon where I have them all pass it to the next person behind
Yes.
them, and I'm
So
like,
fun.
there's all these like props because I was a middle school teacher for like 4 years.
Oh,
So I have all
yeah.
these ideas of like physical ways to integrate it. And I find that like some classes, I'm like, I got lost and I'm decent at these things, but I still
Yeah.
get lost in the first 5 minutes. And I'm like, I want to participate somehow, but I'm like, dude, I'm like way behind. It was a polyrhythmic phase shifting from Eli Herod. I
Oh,
mean, within
geez.
the first minute, I couldn't keep up. It was so sick. But I was like,
Yeah.
is there anything
Eli
I
is
could do? Like, I'm like
silly.
in like 6th grade. You guys are in like 12th grade. Is there like anything you want me to work on? I just did everything with one poi at that point.
Cute.
But you did a really
That's
good
the things
job.
to
Like,
say.
you did a really good job right there, like making it about other people. Cause I asked you, how do you maximize your fun? You like touched on it, like the hammock, and then, but you still have a really good idea of what makes it fun for people at all levels. So I'm
Yes.
glad you're in a leadership role.
Yeah.
Um,
I haven't
because
been organizing things as much as I used to, and in this day and age, with all of the infighting and all the ick, it has been very difficult to will myself into those roles recently. But I'm always here to talk about it. Always here to give advice and talk to people that want to do those things.
yeah, I definitely do. I'm like
Yeah,
hosting one coming up, and I think teaching at like Southwest Flow Festival. It's just a little one.
cute.
It's
Yeah,
cute.
I know of it.
And I'm like, I really want to make it like that. Like I do
Yes.
one class called Multi-Prop Madness, where
Oh,
it's
fun.
10 different electro swing songs. And then each time the song changes, you do a different like thing with multi-prop where like you'll sit
Yeah.
there with hoop like this and you have to like pass juggle through it or find
Uh-huh.
all the different ways to throw through it. And then I brought literally all my props and then I
Yeah.
have everyone bring all theirs and we make these mandalas with them and we
Yeah.
have one song to complete it, and then we fly the drone over it and take a picture of it with us all around it. It's like there's no
Cute.
way
I
to do it
love
wrong.
that.
Like
Yeah.
guaranteed success.
Yeah.
There's no like there is skill to it actually, because you're
Yeah.
balancing them, and it's like, oh, this looks good with that. So I want to do more stuff like that, but it's they don't that class doesn't always get accepted.
Yeah. Yeah. That
um,
happens.
okay, so just transitioning a little bit. what goals outside of flow arts do you have, and like some of the little goals in your near future, and then like maybe one huge goal down the road?
Um, outside of flow arts, so I guess wow, I really haven't sat down and thought about that. I guess my goal has been to just get better at photography. So that has been, just drilling, trying to get even better than what I am currently. I don't like, my boyfriend has aspirations of like touring with artists. I don't like, I'm kind of over touring at this point. I've been touring
I
for like
feel
a
that.
decade. I'm tired. So doing things like that isn't necessarily what I want to do, but I don't want to do like, I don't know. I really don't know what I want to end up doing with my photography. But I think that I think going more down like the fashion route and working with designers is something more so what I would like to do. But like, my photography is kind of all over the place. Like I do a lot of portraiture. I've done a lot of different events, bridal showers, wedding stuff, but like I think
Weddings,
that
though.
but weddings though.
I have 3
Weddings
this
are
month.
weddings.
Like I'm like
Yeah.
this, but I'm also like this at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So like I know that there's good money in it, but like is that necessarily what I want to do? Probably not. But I think doing more fashion based photography, things like that, things like Lizzie Media does. I love her work.
Oh my
She works with
God. I discovered
Lizzie's the
her when
best.
I think I was like, yeah, I was
She
like,
was at Fire Drums.
sheesh. Yeah, her page is like ridiculous. Like that was when I was pretty new to the scene, and I was like, kid in a candy shop. I was like, it just keeps going. I did
She's
make it
so
to the
good.
bottom of her page. I don't make it to the bottom of many people's pages, but I made it to the bottom of hers. I was like,
Yeah.
everything she shoots is gold.
Yes, she is very, very good. I was lucky and got to work with her on a Killstar shoot last year. I came and assisted, and it was a dream. It was amazing. But like doing, being on like, out in the fields doing stuff like with other creatives is what I want to do. Whether that means that I'm going to be working with DJs like not in an event setting, maybe doing like portraiture of different artists and things like that. But yeah, I think that is probably where I'm going to go is more fashion and creatives eventually.
Oh yeah, I'm sure in Boston, and
Oh,
in New
yes.
England in general, there's like a ton of fashion options because it's
Yeah.
like the East Coast is kind of new school and old school. Like one block could be old school, like old money, and then you go around the corner
Yeah.
and then it's like a hipster vibe, and then you go around the corner
Yeah.
and then it's like an ethnic vibe. I feel
Yeah.
like on the West Coast it's like all modern, and anything
Yeah.
that's old school is like evil,
Yes.
where it's like we don't even interact with that. But it's all like all new school out here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but
we
I
have a
feel like
lot of history out here, and very lucky we get a lot of buildings and whatnot from like 1700s, and it's
shooting in
love
front
it.
of cathedrals and stuff is great. Like, wait, is
Yes.
it true? No, Notre Dame. What's Notre Dame is like in Boston. I can't remember. There's
No,
there's a famous building in Boston that everyone shoots in front of. I'm gonna butcher it. I don't know what it
there's
is.
so many. What does it look like?
I
Is it
want
a
to say it's a
school?
cathedral, but it may be a stadium or something.
Are you
I
talking
think
about
it's a
Fenway?
school. What is it?
Fenway, like the baseball?
I know that one. Sports ball. I've heard of it.
But it looks
Maybe a
like a cathedral. There is the Trinity Church.
I think that might be it. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, but yeah, there's
Yeah.
like because whenever I like Boston, I imagine like baked beans and pocky cod and the Harvard, yeah, and all that. Like that's Maryland. I
Don't
think
park
like
your car in the Harvard Yard. They
yeah,
don't
like
like that.
I'm like I've so everything's wrong about my conception of it, and I'll be like, okay, like Boston, let's look it up. I'm like, what? The city's like beautiful. Like I don't know why I imagine it's like rainy and like the streets are all
Gross.
crooked. I'm like, no, it's like beautiful.
I mean, the streets are crooked.
They are crooked. Okay.
But yeah, oh, the streets go like this because they were like forged by cows, I guess. Is the local myth. Yeah, they're nuts. You think you have bad driving, come to Boston. This
Oh my
shit's
god.
terrifying. But yeah, we have a lot of really historical buildings all over the place, and we have Harvard University, MIT, like all of those. So of course they have a lot of grandeur. So it's very easy
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
yes, so much grandeur. Lots of brick, of course. Old Victorian homes. It's beautiful. I
Flying
visited here.
buttresses for everyone.
Exactly. I visited here one time on tour. I came here for a juggling festival, and I moved here 6 months later. I loved it.
That's a testament right there.
Yes, it's amazing. It's so beautiful, so picturesque.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at your apartment. You took a page out of that book because
Yes.
like everything you do. Okay, so goals. I also wrote like being present question mark. Like it seems like instead of setting your goal, you're like, because as a photographer, if you have an open schedule, like, hey, can you do this? I know it's a shot in the dark, but are you available? You're
Yeah.
like, yeah, like you want to work, but you're not gonna set a box around it because you know that when you stay available as a contractor, like good things come your way.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Ah, I love that. I feel as though I have the same goal. Like
Yeah.
I just booked myself for an 80s party. Like
Fun.
I canceled a wedding and then like took
Yeah.
an 80s party because I have this like tech house playlist I'm working on of 80s songs. Like, like Hungry Like the Wolf with like a house beat.
Yes.
It goes so
Yes.
hard. Michael Jackson with house drums. Oh my God. It's like
Yes.
so fun. And what I've been doing is like I'll DJ for my I'm DJing a wedding this Saturday.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm just gonna see. I've just been like performing with fire at the end of them. I'm like, hey, you
Yeah.
guys want a free fire show? And the company I work for is actually called the Fire DJs, and their logo is like a flame. So they're like, wait, is this part of the DJ? I'm like, no, I'm just a special case. Like, but
I'm
I'll
just
just
special.
like shoehorning myself in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they'll tip me sometimes like several $100s. Like that was amazing. There's like they put like this guy tipped me $300 last weekend. Like,
Oh, that's awesome.
so yeah, being like present and available for companies as a whatever contractor seems like a good goal.
Yeah.
I should know with you. And then
Yeah,
last,
though residencies are nice. So I'm a free
consistency.
contractor and I do have a residency.
Oh,
So I
where?
have a
Oh, it's at
so
a nightclub,
I
right?
yes, it
I
is
saw
at
that. Yeah,
Han. Yeah, it's bougie. It's wild. I love
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So I have
Again, I took
guaranteed
some pictures. I took a look at that. What's it called again?
yes. Han Boston HAN. Yeah, all those photos, most of them are mine.
I thought so. They all had the same tint to them.
Yes.
Okay, so one last
And
question
some of
then.
them are boyfriend.
If you could film any flow artist in any location, who would you choose and where?
Ooh, I'd probably choose Ehrlich just because I love Ehrlich and working with him is wonderful. And I would probably choose some sort of like nature thing, maybe like or some historical thing, maybe like the Parthenon or something, or like I don't even know. There's so many gorgeous places in the world. It would be hard to pick, but definitely Ehrlich.
Okay, how do I spell Ehrlich? Urlich?
No, it is ER. Wait, let me-
Hmm.
He's great. He's one of my favorites. Try to pull up Instagram right now.
There's some really cool Ehrlichs on Instagram, but these guys are.
So it's EHRL. So he has so his is firechill.ph. And he's working
Oh,
at
I'm
the
following
Win
him.
right now.
Oh, of course. Yes. When I discovered
Yes.
this, I sent this to everyone.
Yes.
Yes.
I love
What
him.
country is he from? He's got to be from another country, right?
Yeah, he's from the Philippines. I've known him for God
Oh, dude.
forever.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's one of my
I
best friends.
discovered this page, and I was like, did I send? I might have even sent this to you. I was like, I sent this to every like Levy Wonder that I thought would like it, and they're like, oh, you're just discovering him now because he also does some
Yeah.
crazy acrobatic. I honestly think I
Yeah.
discovered him on TikTok, which I don't
Yes.
usually. I'm not usually on that app. For sure, I did. Yeah, he's got 4 Levy
Yeah.
wands going.
Yeah.
He's
He's the
ripped. He's
boss.
beautiful. He's got a hot
Oh,
girlfriend. I
he's
think his
gonna be
makeup's done.
well, I don't know if I'm supposed to say, so never mind. But
Okay, well, to be
you can
continued.
delete this part. Delete this part. But he's
Okay,
gonna be
I'll
at Kindle.
make note. Okay,
Make
I'll make a
note,
note of
delete
that.
this part, but he'll be at Kindle.
Performing, I'm sure, and teaching.
No, he's just going for funsies. He like messaged me. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, you bitch.
Oh my god. Do you ever
I'm
do you
excited.
are you gonna spend I'm building up a crew of people, like some of my Boise crew and Portland crew. We're gonna go film at like you should look this up. Cape Kiwanda is 20 minutes from there. That's like Voita's profile picture, I think.
Oh, really?
No, actually that's a Stromboli one, but like a bunch of shots I got of him there. If
Yeah.
you want to come with us, we're going like you can get a camper van, but we could also put in on a hotel. There's a hotel that time of year, it'll be cheap on the
Yeah.
beach. There's a cafe, a brewery, and the most majestic, photogenic spot to
What?
film. I want to get a big flow crew there. And there's
Okay, I'm down. I'm in town until Tuesday. So
oh sick. Yeah. So if you're
yeah.
in so I wish you were staying for the
I don't
next
know where I'm
weekend.
staying yet.
Yeah. I have room at
Yeah.
my place, as you can see, like there's plenty of room, but if there's tons of options. Like I know tons of people around
Yeah.
here. We're all
Okay.
gonna kick it. My girlfriend will be here with me. I think
Nice.
Patrick Fitz will be here with me.
Nice.
Hopefully his crew. And then like Ty Roachford just said he wants to spend a couple of days. So
Nice.
we're
Hello,
like
Ty.
yeah, I want to shoot for after, because then we could leave like Sunday morning and we could all meet there. We could all
Okay.
get food at the brewery. There's a cafe if we camp there. And then I know 3 other spots up along the coast that are worth shooting
Yeah.
at. And you
Yeah.
just take the 101 and we all just ride together. There's ample parking everywhere.
Yeah.
And even if it's raining, we can get some crazy shots. There's a waterfall on the beach. There's
What?
these cliffs. There's tons and tons. Like people get stuck at Cape Kiwanda, but I'm like, dude, we could shoot for, it's about 5 hours of shooting and you'll get like months worth of content. Just look up Cape Kiwanda, Capekiwanda. It's so sick. It's like,
Wait, how do you spell it again? Cape what?
Kiwanda, Kiwanda. It's like 20 minutes from Kindle. Yeah. And so I'm going to try to get like as many people as I can to go there. But dude, a fucking 30-meter sinkhole just opened there. So it's like collapsing, dude.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see
So
the
like,
photo of it collapsing.
yeah,
Oh, that sucks.
don't pay attention to that. It's doom and gloom. But like the cliffs there are insane. The
Dude,
last 2
what the
times I went,
fuck?
I've seen whales. It's a surfing community. Like I said, brewery
What?
and cafe. There's
Oh, we have
like
to go. I'm
you
down.
can do fire on the
I'm down.
beach. Yeah, paddleboarding with whales. Like it's so sick.
Okay.
So anybody who wants to come, I want to do a shoot there.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring extra cards. More cards.
Do it, because yeah, we can all
Lots of
shoot there. I
cards.
only have like my one little lens and then like my iPhone.
Oh,
So
God.
ideally we would go Sunday morning down to there and then actually go back up north and go
Okay.
to Oswald West. It's like Fern Gully. It's basically like
Yes.
Fern Gully for half a mile. And then the beach, but like the beach, if you type in Oswald West, you'll see it. It's this cove that's protected, and then there's these crazy cliffs, and then there's all these places to spin fire and LEDs. And it's a surfing community. So in all your shots, there's like people like shredding in the background.
What the fuck?
It's so sick. And so that's like an hour
Okay.
from there.
Okay, I'm going with you. I don't know
Yeah.
how I'm gonna go with you, but I'm going with you.
Yeah. Like,
Strap
you
me to
know,
the top of your car.
so okay.
We should probably finish this first.
We should.
Yes.
I'm just gonna call it right there. This is going really well. This has been amazing. I'm just gonna pause the recording and we can keep chatting. Folks, you know
Yes.
who Lux Luminous is. Thank you so much for educating us on photography. I can't even believe I learned so much about blue flames and how to make events better. And we all go to festivals for different reasons. So if you don't attend workshops, don't worry. If you go to hang out with your friends, most other people are doing the same.
Yes. Thank you.